still there, buddy?
Who's
Come
a good
on.
boy? Not me, that's for sure.
And to further hammer the point in, we now look like the ghost of Jacob Marley. Did I make that joke last time? I think I did. Actually, it's a pretty good time to be dressed as a ghost because we're gonna need a disguise for this next job. Sorry, Dexter. I didn't realize you could move this stuff. Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to Crime Scene Cleaner. And I'm really excited to see how they portray this next one because this was the one that was actually kind of haunted to begin with. Short Circuit, the job in which we investigated and cleaned a fake haunted house that maybe turned out to be a real one. In fact, that's where we got our resident ghost cat from. Let's put it to nightmare mode. Ooh, our reward is some kind of janky looking something. Looks like some sort of power washer, maybe? Alright, let's get it started. Now we really are the ghost that haunts our own dreams. Look at those twisted, dirty nails.
Night. When the world is spinning out of control, you can either go mad like everyone else or fight for your sanity. You may want to hold on to something. A person or a mop.
You know, that background is showing us something we'd thought about but hadn't seen, actually getting intercepted by the police while carrying all that stuff. Ooh. Look at that, things have gone all topsy-turvy on us. Now, in the original iteration of the map, just to refresh your memories, this was a smart house that was actually hacked into by a hacker who wanted to reduce the property value. Unfortunately, it turns out the mother of the family was a religious nut who took that stuff all to heart and decided to murder her entire family in an exorcism. I mean, it probably did succeed in getting the property value down. So, you know, unethical life pro tips. Are you fully cleared or what? If I pick you up, will you... Nope. The gravity is inverted as well. You're just gonna stay that way. But the speakers remain. You know, I like to think now that the acquisition of these extra skins is actually part of his deteriorating mental state. It only makes sense now he's thinking about ghosts that he becomes one. And yet the soundtrack here is actually sort of relaxing. Look at that. The ghosts are reminding us that good oral hygiene is the key to success in life. This is so weird. Even the toilet is smart. Well, look. This actually does have the feeling of, like, almost a paradise, like a spa type of atmosphere. Let some of those candles go out as we mop near them. Tell you what, let's start early with the detergents. Oh no, these buckets aren't gonna go wild on us, are they? No. Thankfully, the gravity is selective. You and you, so that we can carry more on our mop, and you. Really, as long as we have the first two, anything else in addition tends to be a good combination, is what I found. There we go. And these soot marks tend to be a bit more stubborn soot marks. Oh, that's what I thought we'd find, a toaster over the tub. So as expected, things are going to be a little bit more on the extreme end this time around. Is that all? Huh. Seems like even our jumps are slightly more gravitationally challenged. Well, you know what? That suits me just fine. Bloody handprints all over the mirror. Is that to imply that someone tried to escape, to climb in, or to climb out? Oops. Right. Well, let's get a second detergent bucket to work with. I actually have so many things I want to talk about. Every time I do one of these like podcasty videos, that ends up being the case. Like, I struggle to find things to talk about while I'm recording, and then I think of them later. But, you know, I've recorded the last crime scene cleaner video. I've recorded the truck simulator video, which you probably haven't seen yet. And it's just given me a lot of regrets to address, so please indulge me while I do all this. Well, there's plenty of side things on the walls to go after. Listen to that music. Like, while this was the first really creepy one of the game, for some reason we've decided to make this more relaxing in the Nightmare version. Which kind of makes me wonder where it's going to go. I should have taken one that increases the surface area for you. Then again, I am scrubbing the floor with a fish, so who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Man, if I knew Kowalski in person, I would probably get him a shirt that said that on the front. Here we go. Let's get that footprint over there. See? Place is starting to look better already. Hey, look at this. If we look at the mission details on the pause screen, we get the regular description. And it tells us there's a body count of 3. Other than the admittedly strange natural phenomenon, it doesn't seem like all that much has changed. Granted, that's a pretty big other than. But yeah, one of the things I wanted to talk about are some common, like, errors and basically things that cause questions in videos. So, for example, you didn't hear it just now because it's really easy to fix this now. But, you know, it used to be a problem where, like, sometimes retakes would be left in due to having to do multiple takes, due to tripping over words, or due to the pacing not being right, and that stuff being left in. Usually the reason that stuff would be left in is because I did cut it, and then Vegas crashed or something, or just some procedural issue happened that led to it being left back in, but I'm already moving on from it. These days, what you would normally hear is 10 claps in a row if that were to happen, which is less intrusive but more likely to be left in, and it's simply because it's a way of cutting down on editing time. Because the way I normally would edit videos, and the way I still do where necessary, is I basically just like have to sit there and watch the entire thing through and through, and cut what I need to cut. And some of you guys, when there's a problem, will ask, like, but don't you watch these things before they go out? And the answer is no, absolutely not. I mean, some of you guys talk about how hard it is to keep up. Well, imagine watching each of these videos that comes out on a weekly basis while also recording them and also editing them. It's simply impossible. So the way I always describe it is making videos for this channel, as much as I would like it to be otherwise, it's not a studio, it's a factory. And that's just what YouTube demands. That's just what doing this for a living demands. And so what I've started doing more recently is, instead of watching every video through and through, if I am recording and I know I'm gonna need to make a cut, like if there's a long pause or if there's a mistake, ten consecutive loud claps. And the reason for that is because it shows up very visibly on the audio waveform. And so at a glance, when a zoomed out view in the project file, I can just see, okay, I clapped there, I know that this section needs to be cut. And I don't just do a blind cut, like I'll look at the area immediately before and after to try and remember the context and see what specifically needs to be done. But for the most part, yeah, that's how it's done these days. And I'll do that for stuff like Crime Scene Cleaner, I'll do it for Stalker, and it reduces what used to be hours of editing down to often just a few minutes. It's part of the reason why I'm able to keep a daily upload schedule, or sometimes even more than one daily. I mean, keep in mind, this is all an increase over back when I first started. I would do 3 videos a week, sometimes 4 if I had extra. And you know what? This does bite me. This does bite me because I know that I just simply don't have enough days to upload things a lot of the time. I mean, I have so many videos finished and ready to go, to the point where sometimes some of these things just sit for months. I mean, I have something I recorded in like January, February.
Better start praying now. When the Wicked One shows up, it'll be too late.
Yeah, right. The way I see it, you're the Wicked One, Mom.
From my point of view, the mom is evil. No wonder hardly anything had to change. All we have to do is imagine the horror story we weren't around to see.
Locked tight. Looks like I'll need to find a key.
Alright, starting here, I guess. Thanks a lot. Okay, let's bring you in. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of blood. But it does seem like somebody was carried around the room, poltergeist style. Also, it's crazy what counts as not a whole lot of blood in my world these days. You know, I've just noticed something. Every picture on the walls is blank. Those pill bottles scattered all over. Even her paranoia was something that could be medically explained. But in this house, they were kind of trapped in their own little world. No voice of reason. You know, the game treated this one as kind of being more comedic in its time. So, even though it didn't do it in such an overt way where it was just all comedy, I mean, it definitely portrayed the horror that was there. Here, we're really seeing just what it was like to see that breakdown and to have it happen for no good reason. We see that this was a gradual thing. A growing mistrust of her and her family. Meditation zone key. Another problem that sometimes happens, this one is a lot more rare, is the intro not having sound.
I take you as my piece of trash.
Like, you know, the logo and the sound that plays in the beginning. Well, the reason for that, it could be for a couple of different reasons. Sometimes when rendering a 4K video, it just doesn't do it for some reason. It's just something that Sony Vegas doesn't like, I guess, or Magix Vegas, sorry. It's just something that it doesn't seem to like. And it's not any problem in the project file, it's literally, it just sometimes comes out that way, and if that's the only problem, it really isn't worth re-rendering for. So I'll usually just leave it. However, if it's during a reading, that's on purpose. It is deliberately muted simply to cut down on kind of distracting noises, especially if you're like listening to it in a playlist, because I imagine that a lot of people listen to those readings like while they're driving or on a plane, and you don't need just a big loud noise in the middle of all that. It also helps on the Patreon when people want to download these things. Oh, by the way, 'cause I don't know how many people know that, you can download readings on the Patreon. And I also offer versions with and without any of the background music. Still floating in position right where she pointed it. Well, having found the first of 3 bodies surprisingly late into this adventure, let's see how readily we can get you up there. In you go. That was like a Dead Space graphic or something. You floating up there, your limbs twisting in all directions. Alright, well, what about this trash bag then? Can we just release it like a wedding balloon? We sure can. Alright, this is gonna come upstairs then. You're looking zen today, son. Come on. Almost feels like we have to complete your trials when we can snatch the cross from your third hand. Only then will we be worthy to enter the temple. Let's get you down from there. Physics sure are fun, huh? Sponge is not already detergented up. So we need you for the bed. Yeah, that helps a ton. Let's get the surrounding stuff first. Nothing much to be done about that. There we go. I mean, honestly, we really should be starting a dry cleaner because we are the best at this. Ooh, maybe we could be like one of those high society ones? You know, I mean, I know we're jumping right back into the light, but one of those criminal ones. We could very easily be compared to that fixer from John Wick. But why can't we be the suit guy? That cross still remains. We can hear the whispers as we pick it up. I actually, oh my God, hey, look at you. Hey, look at this. This whole place is suspended in space, including the cops. Wow, it wasn't just a throwaway thing. Unfortunately, we can't open the windows to have a better look. But then again, that might be a bad idea in this moment. Hey, it is a smart house. It's entirely possible that it could be airtight, right? Anyways, while I'm looking for stuff to talk about, a couple days back I was taking a day off because I was up hiking upstate, and I actually came across a guy wearing my Dipper Pines hat. And it wasn't mine, at least I hope not. But yeah, it's the first time I've seen my exact one in the wild. And you would think it would be pretty rare, because I got mine at Hot Topic in 2014. Anyways, let's remove all the floating garbage from the air. A whole lot of broken glass. Your janitor training comes in handy all day, every day. You go to school and you do this, and then you come here and you do this. Let's not act like it's not useful. I really, really wish I could make thousands of dollars in a night like this. I gotta be honest, for dollars like this, I would probably at a point stop even considering what a humanity-crushing grind this is. It may also be a literal humanity-crushing grind. I don't actually know what happens to the bodies after they take them, but it's not my job to know. And in this line of work, it's important to not do things that aren't your line of work. Old ballads. Notable for being the only thing in the drawer. Is it something we need to mop up? No. That's a little mouse! Look at that, coming through a triangle hole in the floor. That is the most unlikely Easter egg I have ever encountered on my own, I think. Was that there in the original? Okay, well, either way, we've got to collect this evidence. And thereby make the noises stop for us. Well, I guess you could say that this whole experience is about trying to make the noise stop, but that's neither here nor there. What else is here? Or there? Let's actually turn our flashlight off, because it really gets in the way of being able to notice the stains in the UV light. Sponges, you're up. I just remembered something. Let's wash you guys off. Okay, no, it looks like the sconces aren't still the key to a secret. Because remember, by the end of this, we don't want to leave without finding another one of those music discs. Okay, yeah, no, because I remember in the base game, there was something behind one of those walls that had to be opened that way. Wow, these things really last a long, long time with detergents, don't they? Like, I haven't had to refill a single bucket yet. Let's make sure we work around that vase. We don't want to make a mess of it too early. Okay, now you're finally full. Oh, look at that. The shotgun shells are still floating in midair. Okay, let's start looking around garbage-wise. I mean, next to the blood, these are probably some of the most important things to retrieve. Wow, she really went at you? No, I need you to stay on. Remember, we have 2 mops. It's the stuff on the ceiling that always gets you. And the stuff that floats into the way. You know, it really is a revolution in kamikaze garbage technology, isn't it? Thank you. Come on, I know there's broken stuff all over. Unless I really did just push that glass into the shadow realm. Where did it end up? Oh, there we go. You slid right across the ceiling. Fortunately, it seems like everything being floating in place is something we can leave. I'm watching you. Oddly enough, that's not actually a new feature of this map. There we are. Now, it's considering this whole floor to be its own thing, so it doesn't tell us what's remaining for the room. By the way, we can bring this down and get you started once more. Look at that. Had I looked out the window from the very beginning, I would have known we were conducting this cleaning in Zathura. Come on. Look at that. We can see the porch and everything. The flag dangling in the non-existent wind. Okay, refill you because we put some blood in you. And get our detergents ready. You. And you. And now let's increase the surface area. Let's just do that. I mean, look, this gives us plenty of room to mess around, and even if some of these things are basically the same, it's still worth it.
No way through without finding that key first.
Okay, so it looks like we're gonna have to go downstairs for this one. Will any of these doors open from the start? That's the next question.
Won't budge.
This one will. Oh, we're gonna learn what happened in the kiddies' room. Only makes sense that this would be Spook Central. A corner penthouse, some even say. This can go right here. So here's the thing. I'm somebody who might academically know how to do something, but I have always struggled with the physical side of actually doing things, and I'm really not sure why. Like, you know, something like tying any kind of knot, working with strings or rope, trying to accomplish any task. Like, I know how to build a PC, I've done it many times, but it's always the little things, trying to fit cables into tight spaces, or reach in and get a screw in. Stuff like that has always been really difficult. And so I'm looking at this, and sure, a game can yada yada the mechanics of scrubbing an object floating in midair, but I've got to imagine it would be really difficult. I hear that speaker. There you are. I just can't stand to hear it, honestly. Oh, these handprints are absolutely everywhere. I think this might be the map where it's most important to check the ceiling. But the thing is, it still doesn't feel like there's signs of a struggle. The sun, in fact, seemed quite calm, quite at peace with his fate. Which leads me to wonder where all these bloody handprints actually came from. It's almost like after death, their corpses just decided to crawl around for a while for the fun of it. Two versions of yourself. And I've just realized the number of bodies has gone up from 3 to 5. Actually, wait, if I look here, no. It's because it's only showing me the original. I just never glanced to the left. Oh, this map's not even detergented up. No wonder we're so ineffective. I was doing it the way I've been doing it for the entire game. Which at this point just feels awful. I'm pretty sure this update added new perks, because some of these things I would have made a beeline straight toward had they been available earlier. Oops. That's the wrong tool. We want to do things with the fish. The fish knows what's best. Slaying the beast. You know, if I were in a poetic mood, I could say that maybe this is her battling her inner demons, the part of her that knows that all this is down to mental illness. The only problem, she didn't win in the end. Oh, off we go. Something I always think about with crime stories like this is how long did the perpetrator know that it was going to happen like this? For how long did the victim know? I mean, I've got to imagine that at one point, most were probably at least relatively normal people who never thought that they would be the ones to do something like this. There we go. Oh, wait, you literally just drop it on the ground. That's why. The end of your animation is just letting it fall. You're just gonna keep making blood smears if we don't grab you. Roombas are such a funny invention, and you know, as a kid, I always thought that they would either be everywhere by now, or they would have died out completely. I have never seen one in person. I've never known anyone that had one. Which is why it's so weird that they have not died out completely. In fact, they're still constantly coming out with new models and such. Apparently they're pretty useful too. Like, I remember back then thinking, oh, is it going to turn out that this is one of those things that's, like, cool in theory, but doesn't really work that well in practice? People say they're good. Every once in a while, I just need to stop and do garbage control, because otherwise it becomes an overwhelming task. And that's, I think, part of the appeal of these cleaning games, is taking these huge messes and breaking them down into smaller, more manageable tasks until you look around and it really doesn't look all that intimidating. Of course, you could say the same thing about cleaning in real life, but that's a bit harder to get started on in my experience. I mean, I love cleaning games, but I really can't be bothered to fold my laundry. I'm always doing laundry, and I'm quick on that. It's just the folding and putting away part that I can't stand. There's another of those spacemen. Ooh, another key. I need that for opening stuff up. A bloodstain on the Holy Bible.
You promised we'd be safe here. You said this house is not rotten.
I said I would be safe.
You're almost implying that a demon really did possess her to do it. And I guess you could say that they did, if you consider the hacker to be a demon. And if this was the result, well, what's the practical difference? What I love the most about this expansion is that everything that we see as like the nightmare version is always in some way reflective of what really did happen. Not just inspired by it, but really a different way of looking at it. And once more, I can confirm that yes, trying to clean an object that's floating in the air when you can't actually grip it or hold it in place is very difficult. Let's get you back down here. Oh my, that is so annoying. More garbage pickup any moment. I'm really tempted to just shatter some of these vases, honestly. You, and you, and you. It's amazing how having some of these objects floating in the air really changes the dynamic, because you really are just like kind of scanning around looking for what's what a lot of the time. And when you do stuff like that, it completely throws off your schedule.
Cleaning comes before fixing.
On.
The doors were locked, so she must have trashed the place herself.
Unless there was somebody else here with her. Look, we know that wasn't really the case, but this is nightmare mode, and anything can happen. That key has to go to upstairs because this opened on its own from this side. There we are. Hey, the crawl space is still here, and it's filled with cheese. And a little mouse, complete with mouse food. However, it does not seem like there's anything to be found here. I was wondering if perhaps there would be a music box. Wow, there is still so much left to do, even after all that, huh? So according to this is 97% of the blood on this floor already cleaned. Somehow that seems hard to believe. Still pays to be careful in a region like this. I hear another one of those speakers. I gotta say, this was always one of my favorite levels simply because of how inventive it is. I mean, it's just a pile-up of nefarious but still not quite as bad intentions meeting horrific reality that nevertheless is still enough removed that they couldn't possibly have predicted it. What happened is arguably not really the hackers' fault. Arguably, even if they are strictly the cause. But they did still end up with the house. For cheap. So that's blood flipper money. Huh. Blood flipper. I have some intellectual property rights to go secure. I sort of like the idea of turning this into an actual battle against a demon. Still having all things play out in the same way, but almost framing it from the mother's perspective. I don't know, we're seeing things the way she did, and it's something that I acknowledged even in that level, that from her perspective, this is a very different story from the one we were told. I mean, it's real to her. In her mind, she went out sacrificing everything for her family. She died with that in her mind. And so for us to come in as a disinterested third party who doesn't believe any of that, who just sees it, what we assume for what it is, well, that's, I don't know, there's something sad about that. Huh, this actually doesn't go to this one. Where do you go then? Right into this corner, provided we can make the room. I'm actually really surprised that didn't break. That was a lot of force. And anytime we let go of something, we have to go figure out where the accompanying cushion is. Are you still in place or what? Oh man, the furniture side of things is going to be real difficult here, isn't it? These things are floating all over the house. Okay, our sixth sense is going to be absolutely critical here. Fortunately, we now have this waiting period to deal with. There you go. We do actually have to pick up the cheese wedges. I didn't even notice you before. Oh, come on. Why are we taking all this away? That just seems unnecessary and cruel. According to this, that's 75% of the trash. Doesn't seem like nearly enough. Take you. You. Oh, it's all these little bits and bobs that are gonna get me in the end. You can go over here. Well, we'll try and find what we can for ourselves. Huh. How did I miss this? Now's the point in the story where I would probably start asking myself if maybe it wasn't there before. That maybe I'm still being played with. I mean, hey, that number could go up ever so subtly, and there's no way I would notice. I gotta say, one of the things I love most about Crime Scene Cleaner is that they make for great sleep-deprived videos to record. I mean, I really can just jump in and start doing stuff. Where did you go? Right back in this corner. That wasn't on before, and that stain wasn't there, was it? Well, we made our concoction for this. No stain can resist our detergent mix. No wonder it's a nightmare. Instead of cat is cow. Cow and song. Hypnotic. Oh, you're starting to paint the room with some Rorschach images. Okay, that one's a cloud. That one's my third grade teacher who used to call me Sally. That one's a ghost. Actually, they're all ghosts. This might actually just be ectoplasm now that I think about it. Alright, so aside from the furniture, that's this floor mostly dealt with.
I'm not a garbage man. I'm a trash collector.
You're whatever they need you to be. Let's start bringing in chairs, because I know I've seen them floating all over the place. Some of these things really got some distance, and the funny thing is I'm never going to know which ones are because of the map and which ones are because of me. See, there's still a missing chair somewhere. There it is. So that's that. There's still 11 pieces to move back. What is that out there? That's a rubber duck. There is a rubber duck sitting on that asteroid chunk. No, seriously, I just watched Thura again a couple weeks ago for the first time in literal decades. This looks so much like it, it's unreal. Does this go here? It does not. Well, there's another cushion. Wow, these things really do get around. Well, if it works, it works. Good thing that UV lamp is getting some distance, huh? On the porous concrete, this is really giving me some trouble right now. I mean, no trouble compared to before, but still. Yeah, no, this detergent up here is having a much easier time with it. You know, we are still missing a body. Cheese everywhere! Somebody call Wallace and Gromit, or better yet, don't. You know, that shows the reason why, for a long time, I believed the moon was made of cheese.
Let's get rid of that.
Oh, there's all the garbage.
Clogged pipes, mold beneath the floor. It looks bad, boss.
Rot runs deep in the family. It's too late to save them.
Yep. We need to hurry and get out of here before he arrives.
We've not seen you in some time, huh? A metaphorical demolition crew. Preparing the destruction of the people we're here to clean up after? Hard to say. There's a couple of ways you could interpret this. Okay, where's that speaker? There you are. Gotcha. We're still missing another piece of evidence, and we're still missing another body. Never mind. The worker, what have you got there? One last sacrifice? Now, when you say you need to get all this done before he arrives, I can only assume you're talking about me. I kind of thought that you would go in automatically. Right, there you go. So I guess it's not just a grab area. Oh, there's that. And there's the garbage bags. But of course, the Dream Police will never buy this if we don't put all the furniture back. And so we need to figure out where this goes. You know what? I would bet that this goes in the side room here. Yep. Oops, sorry, laptop. Looks expensive. Looks like it would be a good deal to steal. But I guess we're not about that right now. Come on. This whole thing is just us constantly making more work. A lot more work. Thank you. Sleep soundly. No, I don't think I will. Not at this rate, anyway. You're a lamp that goes somewhere? But not here. No, actually, but I know... You know what? I know what does go there. Let's let you go, and bring you back upstairs. Oops. See, look, I'm helping. This office chair probably goes back here. And then it was the other lamp, right? Yes, I think the other lamp that goes right here. Well, there's actually a couple of these, it seems. The furniture is always the most annoying part. Partly because it's just really finicky, but also because it's just the least fun part of a game called Crime Scene Cleaner, you know? A little piece managed to make its way all the way over here. There's another lamp up here. We can just bring that right back to your room. And that is this floor done. We don't have to worry about this anymore. I don't know if the same can be said for cushions, though. Oh, there's still so many left to find. And I'm guessing, yeah, they can be found up here. So no, we're not really quite done with this floor yet. There. Oh, what an unruly scavenger hunt. More cushions. Man, this is just like the opposite version of building pillow forts as a kid. There, that sofa is done. Now nobody can say it's not comfy and ready for guests. You can remove stuff like this. That window's open a crack. And we can come out! Look at this. We can even find a bunch of unfortunate spacemen around a model rocket. Unfortunately, cannot look into this telescope, but we can see a small step for man and a giant leap for mankind. Look at this. Looking out the window was all leading to something. Right, move over, Armstrong. I've got stuff to do. I'm just a ghost sitting up in space on an asteroid, listening to this song, looking over my handiwork. Have you noticed this thing with dreams where they can be devastatingly sad, and yet when you wake up they feel so meaningful? Like, there's so much more importance in them than anything you could possibly feel in real life. I love the inclusion of these music discs. It's all taken off now. Look at you. Let's creep back in. Seems like the kind of thing we probably don't want to leave the window open, but you know what? It's not my problem anymore. According to this, there's still trash around. And many things to be found. Oh, and some blood. Technically. Wow, is it really not counting that? There you are, the last piece of evidence. There we go. I guess if it technically considers that something other than blood, then it won't be a problem. Okay, thankfully there's a large concentration of cushions right here. So we can simply place you guys back where we found you. And now we only need 3 more things, most of which are cushions. I have no idea where we find any more trash. We're looking for... Oh, there's a stool right there. Did that toy just make a squeak as I touched it? That's cute. Question is, where do I use yas? Right under there. Oh, you're a stool, not a table. There's the trash. But you're not all. That's insidious. This is what the cleaner vision is for. Oh, come on. Really? Don't do this. Come on. Alright, can we knock it out? Perhaps? Oh my god, really? Power washer. I'm gonna need you to move from that spot. I know you can. Really, you moved a little bit and now you've decided to just stop. You've got to be kidding. Okay, we can get it from up here, right? Thank you. Oh, there's so much that can go wrong in this game. Just 2 things. 2 more things, and then we're done. Just 1 light and 1 cushion. Any cushions up in this area? There's 1 cushion. Actually, the last of them. Now, literally, all of this is being held back because we're looking for a lamp. And whenever I look around for said lamp, I get really nervous about the fact that there's an open window right there. Something could have floated out. There it is! I knew this was the one room I haven't checked in a while. There you go. Now we have to deal with getting all of these out. Well, 1 last spell complete. And I think we're done with this House of Horrors. It ended up being way worse off than we thought, but funnily enough, this one didn't actually have to remix the actual story too much. And if I were to speculate on why Kowalski's thoughts would have gone in the direction they did with this one, I would say it's gotta be fear of what we're doing to our daughter by doing all of this. I mean, sure, he's very unlikely to actually hurt her himself, but I mean, she probably never thought that either, right? Probably never thought she would murder her own family because ghosts in her head told her to. Yet here we are. Hey, look, there's even more reason to explore around. I mean, this isn't so crushingly depressing if you stop and marvel at the plastic dinosaurs chasing the spaceman. Bags of money, as if they're not bags of stolen goods, human limbs, and other such garbage. Hey, can we push this stuff off into space? No such luck. What I really want to unlock is some of these car skins. Yep. Oh boy, what happens now?
Back to work.
Back to work indeed. Or back off work, because now it's time to leave. Even in my dreams, I only leave with a perfect score. The laser washer. Okay, that's interesting. Can't wait to try it out next time. There. Now whenever we wake up, as long as we have this skin, the nightmares will remain real in some way. So that's the first, what, 4 out of 10 missions? So we've still got a ways to go yet. Dexter, I could really use you right now.
Who's a good boy?
But before we end this, I think it's probably a good time to check what the next one will be. You know, build some height. Okay, so next up will be Italian job. And I believe you guys were telling me that this one was crazy, that this was one that you were really excited for. Now, as for the level itself, I was really going in thinking, man, this was supposed to be the game's creepy level. What can they possibly do to make it suited for nightmare mode? And it seems like what they did was just expanded on the story that was already there, made us see it from a different perspective, and in doing so, I think made it more clear what effect it had on us. It made it apparent that this affected not only the way we see ourselves, but the way we see the people we work for. Because remember, not everything was done for Big Jim. This one was done for just a client through Big Jim. And yet, even though it's only our job to get it done, well, we still can't hide that disgust. Well, certainly can't hide from ourselves anymore either, if this is going to be how it is every night. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.